Hello. I'm going to call this is Miley Gray, the chair of this committee and director of Drive Smart Colorado. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Good morning, everybody. Now it's official. Hi, Joe. So I would like somebody, please, to move to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Microphone.
Okay.
Sharon Brown.
Okay. Sharon and Dick.
There are already minutes. You guys don't approve the minutes in here, so but they're.
Okay. Are there any items that are not on the agenda that anybody would like to report on this morning? We have a taker.
Miley, I would. Brian Champion
okay,
with
Brian.
Mountain Metro. I put some flyers out on the table. I'll bring you up one. It's describing a new application we're going to have as an add-on to Trapeze. Currently, we have.
Did everybody get a copy?
Thanks, Miley. So currently, we have a application that you can access online from a laptop or a computer, where if you want to book a ADA paratransit trip, you can do that. You can schedule it. You can cancel it. But with this add-on, it includes all the features, additional features, and it includes a mobile app that you can get to through a phone, a smartphone, or tablet. So just some of the new things you can do. It allows riders to monitor the status of their vehicle. So where is my bus, that kind of stuff, so they could see by a map of the progress of their bus. They could they can do trip confirmation and cancellation. You can view trips by week, month, past, or future. You can view trip details, the date, the time, the purpose, the provider, because this would have a one-ride application for those using Trapeze. They could book a trip directly through one ride, and then the mobile app would allow them to see what provider is going to pick them up, either their their trip to or trip from. They could schedule, unschedule. They can see their no-shows and cancellations. They can also see their history of transit. It has a easy wallet component, which means you can charge your account electronically. And you can also print out usage reports for tax purposes. So if you want to declare on your taxes the cost of public transit, you can do that through this mobile app too. And then you can see all prior historical trips. And it also has a screen reader friendly for visually impaired clients. And it also uses or can read or function with JAWS, which is a popular software for visually impaired clients. So we are looking to purchase this and implement it by the end of this calendar year. So by January, we should have, again, augment our online capability, but also extend it to smartphone applications. So
theoretically, Brian, Dick Hyde here. A person can you book trips without calling one ride, or just cancel trips?
You could book trips.
Providing you're in the system already.
Provided you're in the system already, yeah.
Okay.
You could book trips to one-ride providers.
Okay.
Yeah, through the call center.
And obviously cancel here too.
You can cancel,
Yeah.
yep. And then you can see, all your past usage. If you have a no-show, you can go back and see when you had the no-show.
Yeah.
I have two questions. First, if the trip's going to be canceled, how close is one ride going to be watching that to notify the provider so that we're not doing deadhead rides?
Well, again, it would be through Trapeze to a tablet on board a bus.
We don't have Trapeze tablets on the
Yeah.
bus?
So that's why I prefaced it. If a provider was on Trapeze, all this functionality would extend to that provider.
Okay, and then two, if they're booking on their mobile app and the provider doesn't have Trapeze, is there going to be policies put in place that if they make their donations on how you're going to get that to the
Well, again,
providers?
it'd probably be for providers that are on Trapeze.
Okay, otherwise they can still just call One Ride?
It would remain the same. They would call and book a trip directly through One Ride. Yeah.
Question. Joe Vaccaro, what, does this interface with Route Match?
It would not, no. It's a standalone for trapeze only.
Doesn't that not cause a problem with two systems at work?
Well, we have problems already with two systems. You know,
Yeah, I would think.
when we went out to bid for contractors to provide one-ride trips, one of the caveats was there was an API, or the ability to route match to speak with trapeze. So the city built an API to talk with route match. Unfortunately, we didn't get the same from route match. So we can't speak directly with our providers, but we did take another step, which was build an interface or a web portal called Trip Broker, and that's how we communicate with our providers.
Okay, you
So it
lost me
was-
technologically already, but
Yeah, it
I
was-
understand the concept. Just that I know Route Match promised that interface would occur, and that would be simple.
Yes, right. So we being the city, have reached out to them. We've had conference calls with their executive management team. We were promised, in coordination with our providers, of course, they were at the table too, quotes or what the capability would be, but it just hasn't come to fruition. So the city did take the next step and work with Trapeze to build this web portal. And it has improved communications a lot, because for a long time we were sending reports through email. Modified reports, AM reports, PM reports. It was pretty labor intensive on both sides. So this, the Trip Broker has made it a bit easier.
No, I'm sorry that happened.
Well, we're overcoming.
Okay.
But again, we should have this in place by the end of the calendar year. So, thank you.
What's the name of the app? I mean, like when you go to download it, is it, what is
I
it?
think it's just going to be called PassWeb.
Passweb?
Yeah.
And you put in like your area code, or, because I assume this is a national program, because it talks about Alcatraz in here and going to Alcatraz.
Yeah. Trapeze is a major player in transportation software packages.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know. Wow. Going to Alcatraz, okay. All right, some discussion items, folks.
Miley, I have one,
Oh,
I'm sorry, one more
yes,
announcement.
Joe.
If anybody didn't get yellow books already, we've got 20-some thousand of them sitting around here. I would love to get them out of my office. So feel free to take as many as you want. If you want mass quantities, we've got them.
I'm involved in the Senior Expo this Saturday. Is anybody else going to be there? I'd be happy to take some. Would that be an appropriate place to have some?
We'll have.
You'll have them.
Actually, we do not have a booth this year. Yeah, sure, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I can get them after this meeting?
Sure.
Okay.
Many cases as you want.
Maybe other people who are going to be there want to have them too.
I'm speaking there, but we do not have a booth there.
Okay.
Where was the Senior Expo?
It's the Senior Expo that's put on by the Senior Resource Council, which is actually this new amazing group that I've just discovered, and they've only been around, 60 years or something. But, yeah, so it's at the Marriott on Rock Rimmon and the KOAA is a sponsor, and it is going to be going on from 8:30 to 2 p.m. this Saturday up there. So come on down. But I got 2 tables because my nonprofit likes to share with our partners in our older driver coalition. So even though Senior Resource Council discourages that, I bought them. So anyway, I'm doing it. So I'd be happy to do that. That'd be great. Yep, sure. And, okay, so moving on, you all might remember that I think last month when I wasn't here, we had this small but mighty group to put together when we were discussing the bylaws a couple, months ago. Wow, up in Cripple Creek. And we thought that it would really be a great idea to have a public event this year in order to showcase all of the organizations that are part of the coordinating committee and invite people, show them how to work, how their buses or whatever their modes of transportation are. And just wanted to know if y'all still think that that's a good idea and what suggestions you might have for that to proceed at some point this year. And if you think that we have time and blah, 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 and where we could locate it, and what do you think? Sharon?
You answered my question. You hadn't decided on the location. I
No,
was
we haven't
wondering-
decided on anything, because it
Okay.
was just brought up briefly at the last meeting, I think, and then to be discussed today.
Okay, okay. I was-
Thoughts, open dialogue, open discussion, what do you guys think? Because I can't organize it. We'll have to get people to help organize this.
Definitely.
So, anybody have any ideas at all? Toss them out. Or if you don't, we kind of need to get going on the planning of it pronto, and if people don't have suggestions, we probably can't pull it together in 2019. So, what do you guys think?
So you're looking right now for whether people think it's a good idea?
Yeah, whether you
You're
think
just
it's a good
looking for
idea.
go or not?
Yeah, and if you think it's a good idea, who can help? And then, I would probably imagine fall, because I don't think we can, I think fall's a good time anyway.
Yeah.
But,
Go down.
so, don't all speak up at once, folks.
Miley, I think it's a good idea, and I'll volunteer to help get it together. I was thinking maybe summertime, the parking lot out here, if we all had kind of an easy up and set up a table underneath, might be an easy way to do it. Is this location served well with fixed route?
Yeah.
Just right over here?
Yeah.
I think that would be important to make sure it's near a fixed route stop. But like I said, I'd be happy to
Okay.
help you out.
We're happy to be involved as well.
Okay, so we could close this parking lot I guess on Saturday.
If we did it on Saturday, absolutely.
So do we think that Saturday, if it was to occur on a Saturday, is a Saturday a good day for our clientele? I mean, sometimes it is and sometimes it's not in
Yeah.
events that I've been a part of.
Invita runs some service on Saturday, but the other providers that we being One Ride contract with don't run service on Saturday. So maybe during the week would be better?
Well, and sometimes retirees or what, they don't really care, but maybe they have plans to go someplace on weekends. I mean, I find sometimes I don't work that much with folks with disabilities, but I do work with the older folks, me being one of them. But sometimes they prefer Monday through Friday. They're kind of programmed, and they want to do things with their grandkids or go someplace on weekends. So I don't know.
And we can be relatively flexible
Okay.
with the day of the week. I mean, we wouldn't be able to take the whole parking lot, but we could take a chunk of it on a weekend. As long as we don't have
okay.
other big things going on that day.
This is Linda Lagarde with Special Kids, Special Families, and I would concur that weekday would probably work best for people with disabilities and the services that are being provided. Wondering if there's a community event that this could piggyback on.
Could be a part of.
Especially when you're starting a new
Right.
event.
Yes, I agree.
To get some word out.
Find a
to-
parade and get in front of it. we
A
always
little
like
bit
to
of
say.
that, yes.
Spring Spree is
The
still on the...
spring
No.
spree.
No, that's too soon.
Wow, that's taken me back since I was chair of it for a million years. That's probably too soon.
Yeah.
So keep talking, people, because there are calendars of events, of things that are going on unless somebody knows of something. And then again, on the other hand, sometimes people who are planning to go to an event are planning to only go to that event, and they would walk right past this. I mean, that happens too, because I do a ton of events, and sometimes people are like, oh, well, this is a great idea, I'll come back, and then, it's, so would we be able, how would we get people to this supposed event? And do you think people would be interested in coming to see our things, no matter when or where it is? And what would we have there?
You need food. They always like food. Of some sort.
Yes, I know, yeah, true. No, I know you're not
Vendors of
joking.
some sort.
It seems like it would be a good idea to maybe get a small group of people
Yeah,
together
a little
to represent
subcommittee.
all the different facets of
The community.
this group or transportation in general. And then kind
And
of
talk
look-
a little bit more?
Talk a little bit about that, yeah.
Okay. Should we send around a sign-in sheet? And this is not the whole group. This is kind of a small group today, I think.
Just send out a batch email.
Oh, if you would.
Sure.
And then if we get some people, then we can send out a suggestion for meeting dates? Is that okay?
Meeting dates?
Yeah.
Sure, for your subcommittee?
Yeah. Thank you. Good idea, Joe. But we thought it was a good idea at the beginning, so.
I think we take certain things for granted, but I think, once again, it's how you get people there. That's a difficult
Right.
thing for anything.
Right.
But we take for granted knowing what those buses look like, just getting familiarity with the system is a huge asset for folks who are getting into that market. And I think that it could be very positive. You just have to figure out how to get them there. So the people that are already riding the bus, I don't think are as big a target audience as the people who are getting ready to ride the bus.
And we could advertise it. I mean, I know like the Senior Resource Council would share that information to people. We just did a CarFit event where the Senior Resource Council, they sent it out to their people, and we had a great turnout. So, I mean, people really do pay attention to those newsletters. So we could do that, and there might be some other avenues there are many, I'm sure, other avenues that I'm not familiar with that would be able to do it. So, Jessica, if you could do that this month, that would be awesome. Okay.
Just give her whatever wording you want, and she can batch it out.
Okay, send you an email. Thank you. All right, so thank you. Now, evidently, at the last meeting, and I wasn't here, there was somebody brought up the idea of changing the meetings, whether it's the time, or, the locations of them, or, because I think that meeting once a month is still a really good idea. The suggestion was to possibly change the meeting location once per quarter to a different area, a different location. I would suggest that the location, and I believe it can be worked out, needs to have the ability to have call-in available for people who can't be here. And we need to actually communicate that somehow in the agenda or something, to let people know how they could call into this meeting. How do we do that?
I believe we have that capability to take that show on the road, don't we? We just have to take a phone with us, and it's a common dial-in number.
I mean, yeah. I don't think we have with other committees because we don't travel very much. We're actually on the travels. So our phone can go to another location
Okay.
if there's a phone line available.
Yeah, it's-
Well, I
if you
guess
know-
so. I guess my question is,
We can note it on agendas.
That'd be
the
great.
call-in number.
Yeah. And then
if
have
that's
that.
going to be a permanent fixture.
I think this meeting itself should have a call-in number.
That's what I'm suggesting, that
We
we,
always do it, and so we turn it on and nobody calls in. That's the issue. And then we just have to sit there with waiting music. So if we know, if we start putting it out there, the information that, hey, this is available, let us know if we'll be calling in.
yes.
And that usually helps as well.
And then we could put the number on the agendas as they go out.
Yep.
That would be great. And we could probably say, call in the first 5 minutes, otherwise we're turning off
Right.
the music. Yeah, because that's
Right.
obnoxious. Okay, that would be great. But thank you, yeah. So anyway, back to the idea of moving it. What does this group think of the idea of changing locations once per quarter with call-in available? Or keeping it here, keep it simple, whatever. What do
Molly
you
Dick
think?
from Community Intersections.
Oh, hi, Dick.
What would be the requirement for the place you move to as far as infrastructure?
Well, I think it needs to have a room such as this.
I mean, is there a specific phone line?
That's
And-
what she's just talking
Just an
about.
analog
Yeah, I'm just
phone
wondering
line.
What the requirement are, is any?
Actually, it wouldn't even have to be analog. It could be a
Yeah.
VoIP. But a phone line and space to set up. We actually have a data projector we can take on the road if we need to, so if somebody doesn't have a projector and there's a presentation to be made. We're pretty much roadworthy at this point in time. The RAC, which is the Regional Advisory Council that does the AAA, goes to every county once a year. So we do 3 road trips a year. And it doesn't seem to be too big of an issue. I think it's a great idea because I think we would get to see people's operations. We'd be able to get up in the mountains. We probably don't want to schedule them in January, but we'd be able to do some things that would give the people on this committee a much broader perspective, as well as bring a little bit of that message to some of those areas.
I think when you work up in the mountains or in rural communities, you can feel isolated from the group. So it's nice if the group comes to you so that you feel like you're
show
part
support.
of a bigger team.
Yeah, I agree. So would y'all be willing to drive once a quarter? Nod your head, yes.
I will give you an example. We're going to Fair Play day after tomorrow for our RAC meeting.
Wow.
And everybody gets together in carpools. It's actually kind of nice. You get to spend an hour and a half with somebody that you may not have otherwise done that with.
And I'm just saying, some of us have buses that we could probably drive if people wanted to hop on.
Nice. Okay, so is this group in agreement that this is something that we would like to do? So what I would like to propose is that we look at it like literally on the quarter schedule, and maybe the last month of each quarter, we move someplace. And we could if Jessica could send out a sign-up sheet with the, any stipulations or rules or whatever infrastructure needs that we might have. A room big enough for X amount of people. Do we need these set up? Microphone setups? No, we don't. So does that sound good? So that would be March, June, which is next month. Yikes. How about we start in September?
That's
Okay.
pretty soon.
Our first road
Right.
trip in September.
Timber, okay. I have a question for Joe. Where are you meeting in Fairplay?
I believe it's County Fairgrounds.
County Fairgrounds Community Center.
Right.
Okay, okay.
We bounce. We go to rural El Paso, Park once a year, and Teller once a year. And this year we went to Cripple Creek, Fair Play, and then we met in Fountain last month, I believe.
Okay, great. So be expecting, if you can think about any place a meeting room that you all might be able to share and be willing to do so, that'd be great. So we'll go September, and then, we don't usually have a meeting in December, right? We have a potluck thing.
There is no December meeting, so that could impact how you want to do that.
Yeah, well, we can start in September and then skip December and then go back to March. Okay? Sound good?
Best for the weather.
Yeah, let's just do that. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, cool. So December's quarterly trip will actually be to here, where we'll do our annual little end-of-year thing.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not even in December. Sometimes it's the end of November. It just depends on how the calendar. We
Okay.
do a combined meeting usually there.
I used to do those, too, when it was November, December, yeah. Okay. Okay, awesome. Now, we had put it in the agenda to discuss the Mountain Metro Transit Program Management Plan, that you all did receive a copy of it. And I'm hoping that some of you had an opportunity to read it. And I'm going to turn it over to Brian right now to begin the discussion on it, and anything that you had an idea to discuss and request feedback.
Okay, thanks, Miley.
Take it away, Brian.
So as Miley said, last Tuesday, Jessica sent a copy of the Section 5310 Program Management Plan as part of today's agenda. And it had a request that we would be collecting feedback from MCC members. So I thought I'd provide a brief summary of the plan and then ask for feedback.
Please.
For those not here today, or those of you that may want to make some additional comments, you can submit written comments until next Tuesday, June 4th, and the memo has the email address. And I also have Jacob here with me, so he can help write down some of your comments, and he also knows an awful lot about the 5310 program. So the City of Colorado Springs, doing business as Mountain Metro, is a designated recipient for the 5310 program for the Colorado Springs Urbanized Area, or UZA. In this capacity, Mountain Metro is responsible for developing and updating a program management plan. The purpose of the plan is to document the policies and procedures for administering the program. The plan is filed with the Federal Transit Administration, as well as all updates are submitted to the FTA for review. The plan is a living document. It'll be reviewed as necessary to incorporate any expansion or enhancement to the 5310 program. The plan outlines project selection criteria and methods of distributing funds. It talks about the annual program of projects, its development and approval process, compliance with reporting requirements and closeouts, procedures, and then compliance with such things that you all know are in the annual certification and assurances, Title VI non-discrimination, disadvantaged business enterprise, equal employment opportunities, Buy America, and drug testing. So in the past, the 5310 program funded projects such as operating specialized transportation in northern hospitals. It funded the Ppacg Mobility Manager. It funded ADA barrier removals for fixed routes such as curb ramps, accessible bus stops. And it has paid, or it has funded vehicle replacements. Over the course of 2 funding cycles, it looks like Invita was funded for 4 vehicles. Goodwill had a vehicle. Silver Key had 2 vehicles, and Community Intersections had 2 vehicles. The intention of future 5310 funding is to be used to operate the One Ride Consolidated Call Center, fund the mobility manager position at Metro Mobility. I shouldn't have a hard time saying that because that's me. Improve technology to better share information, and contracting with transit or human service providers to provide rides. These funding priorities will implement some of the key recommendations in the 2040 Regional Transportation Plan, also known as a coordinated plan. The plan was developed by Mountain Metro and approved by Ppacg Board of Directors in their role as the MPO. As well as the Senate Bill 17, it was titled Transportation Access Study for People with Disabilities, also included a consolidated call center and mobility manager as part of the 5310 program. To ensure the capital needs of the region are being met, Mountain Metro will continue to participate in the regional coordination meeting hosted by Ppacg, and that's where the region's need for vehicle replacement and or expansion is prioritized. If the identified need is not met through other funds, Mountain Metro will consider allocating 5310 funds among eligible projects. The development of the 2045 coordinated plan will kick off soon and will allow for input and comment on the direction and priorities for specialized transportation over the next 5 years. And so there'll be an avenue for a lot of comment and review. And with that, I'd like to take your feedback on the plan. Again, if you want to give it to us verbally now, or we can take it through an email by next Tuesday.
Is there going to be a plan to fund specialized transportation to actually meet the needs of the consumers in the area, such as going to senior centers, day programs for the developmentally delayed, beyond just medical, work, and education?
Oh, the 4 trip priorities? There may, Jolene.
And is the priorities going to actually be in the documents and publicized that the city isn't funding trips to senior centers or day programs?
Just so you're aware, Jolene, it is important to note that Section 5310 isn't solely for operations. There is a, I believe, 55% capital requirement, of which the call center itself is considered capital. So there is that aspect that in terms of just the funding available, and I don't remember specifically what it was. Do you remember what it was, Brian, for yearly?
About 400.
Okay, it's about 400,000. So if you just run the math on that, even using that towards just using it towards operations, what we could would not meet all the need. This plan is specific to the 5310 program and not necessarily to all transit as a whole.
I'd be interested to know, because I'm going to get this question, where you are in the process. Is this are you just in the public comment period? Is this a draft plan, or?
It is. So the comments would be incorporated into the document, and then it would be filed with the FTA.
Okay. When does it go in for, when do you submit it?
I think will be submitted in June.
Is there a public comment section at City Council? Is any of this going before City Council, that subcontractors or the seniors in the area can voice their concerns regarding the City of Colorado Springs transportation right now?
I'm not sure if there's going to be a specific item, but you're always welcome to attend a City Council meeting. So is there any verbal comments besides Jolene's?
Is this something that should be brought up at City Council? Like a specific meeting time and date? I mean, is that something that does, yeah, I mean, is that something that generally happens? And I'm claiming ignorance here, but I'm just asking.
I would say reduced services is normally brought up before City Council, and it hasn't been to this point yet. So, I mean, everybody's been playing well in the sandbox so far, but I'm just curious what, will be held in the future as we see more and more people aging and senior centers are not considered a priority.
Yeah, the city will continue to provide the roughly $800,000 for specialized transit, which it has. I think over the last 10 years, it's been about $8 million to the specialized transportation program. And I don't see that not continuing, although, as Jolene said, we did go to a trip priority in January to spread the money through the whole year. As in prior years, contractors may have run out of money or have reduced services. And so the city did go to a trip purpose, and I think Jolene mentioned 3 of them. So it's dialysis, medical, education, and work. The city thought at least provide essential services for the senior and disabled communities.
Brian, I know I've had the question, where do folks go to find the budget for this?
Cora, probably.
They'd have to do a Cora request?
To see where the budget is.
Just to see the budget. It's federal money, so it has to have a public.
It's not federal money. It's RTA and general fund money, so it's not federal.
5310 is FTA UZA money.
That doesn't fund the specialized transportation trips, though. That funds the operation of the call center and my salary.
That still has to be
But
public.
I guess it would be in the Public Works budget of the city.
Public Works.
Thanks.
So with that, thank you very much. And
So if anybody doesn't want to make a comment, other comments here, think about it for a minute. The deadline's June 4th, you said?
yeah, next Tuesday.
Okay, so make sure that you shoot Brian an email with any
So
comments
actually,
that you might have by
the
then.
email is www.transitinfo@springsgov.com. It's part of the memo inside the packet that you received from Jessica.
Can you just repeat that, though, please?
Sure.
www.who?
.transitinfo,
Okay.
one word, transitinfo, at springsgov.com.
And who's the City Council rep for transportation if we want to CC them on our public comments?
The city, I'm not,
Does Craig have, every department should have a City Council
gosh,
representative?
I don't know, Jolene, but I will ask Craig and provide that to Jessica, and she can send that to everybody else.
The Ppacg rep is Yolanda Avila.
Okay.
And she
But
comes
she's
to
not-
the meetings.
Yeah, she's on the city council, but
Right.
she's not necessarily the rep.
No,
She's the
but-
rep from the city council to the
To
council of
PPA,
governments.
yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Actually, she may be the
It
same
didn't.
one.
I would just like to know which one's assigned to transit as well.
A city council member assigned to transit issues.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Marlene.
Moving on, we have a presentation by Jolene right now, Fountain Valley Senior Center.
Bear with me, I'm super shy. But I'm also 40 now, and I can't see how to start the slideshow. Okay, so I signed up to just tell you a little bit more about the Fountain Valley Senior Center and what we do. This is a really old picture. We'll be taking a new picture at our summer picnic this year. But our mission is to provide services and activities to adults which enhance dignity, support independence, and encourage involvement in their community. We service a wide area, all of the Fountain Valley area, which is southern El Paso County, and then we also service the eastern El Paso County, so Callahan, Peyton, Falcon, Yoder, Ellicott, and Rush. We provide transportation services through assisted transportation, regular transportation, rural area meals program, and nutrition education are all funded by the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments. And we do have preference and priority. However, Fountain Valley Senior Center has no waiting list, and we will serve any senior that has needs in our area. So we do look at the greatest social and economic need, low-income minority individuals, if they're frail, if they're homebound by reason of illness, and incapacitating disabilities, or they're just otherwise isolated. We don't want anyone living out their golden years alone. For transportation, we provide transportation for medical, nutrition, shopping, recreational, adult day programs, education. We do fun field trips. I just took some ladies to see Palms the other day, last week. Like, the whole theater was only people from Fountain Valley Senior Center. It was a lot of fun. But we are not starting a cheerleading club. And these are some of our vehicles. The seniors really love the vehicle on the top right. That's an MV1. Don't ever buy one. It's made between 3 different parts of vehicles, like a Hummer and 3 other things, and you can't get a part to save your life. So even though they love it, don't buy it.
Do they just love it because of the paint job?
No, so they love it because if you're in a wheelchair, you can sit in the front. So you feel like an active, normal rider in a vehicle. So you can be strapped down, like your chair can be strapped down right next to the driver. Yeah, so it really gives them just the feel of prior to them being in a chair. And then on the bottom is one of our buses. But going forward, we're mostly only going to purchase the transit vans with how expensive gas is and maintenance. So it will be smaller passenger loads, but much cheaper to run on the road.
You mean like those Ford Transit?
Yes. Yeah, they're so much easier to find parts for, and then they get better than like 8 miles a gallon, so they're better on my budget. And so they just love being on the bus and like with their friends. And I have them convinced too that every driver's favorite song is 99 Bottles of Beer on the Wall. So they sing to the drivers now too. And most of our lifts can even handle the bigger scooters as well, because that's been a difficult challenge as people and their mobility devices get bigger.
Can you put lifts on the Ford Transit?
Yeah, and they come either on the side or in the back. So, our drivers prefer the ones on the side. The ones in the back, like, it becomes a headache trying to get in and out of parking lots. But they're like $20,000 cheaper too, so it's a trade-off. So in the last year, we provided almost 17,000 one-way trips, and that's just how they're broken down. And we put on almost 200,000 vehicle miles. Our transportation challenges in our community is the lift mechanical issues. Lifts break constantly. They're used so much. One is always in the shop for lifts. It's hard to get them serviced. We now just take them up to Davy Coach. The turnaround time seems to be the fastest. But they also like to rush order parts without permission, and so you have to watch your shipping charges. And then we have a lot of challenges with the One Ride call center and driver shortages. We live in Colorado. Drivers don't get paid much, and you have to pass a drug test. So when we have good ones, we try and do everything we can to keep them. New drivers also tend to be the hardest on our vehicles for brakes and transmission because they are kind of chicken when they first start driving people around. Most of our drivers are all retired seniors from the Army, so all of ours can also go on Carson as well, which makes it really convenient. Right now, I have 10 drivers, and they're all part-time.
Are they all paid?
All of my the 10 drivers are paid. I do have volunteer drivers for the ramp program, delivering meals, and for some of our field trip activities. So, like, we're bringing back Cripple Creek trips. They went away because one person got mad that mom was spending money up the hill. We have a gambling license ourselves, so like pot, meat, kettle, like we're taking Granny's money like with a bingo card, so we're bringing those back, and it's ironic, the trip is full for June, and 95% of the seniors going that day are going to see a play up there. They're not even gambling. Like, there's so much to do in Cripple Creek, and they just want to get out of town for the day. So, yeah, and their kids, if they're not, like, actively taking care of their parents on a day-to-day basis, I don't really care what they say, so. And then in 2017, the program wasn't cut. There was just extra money previously in RAMP, and then there wasn't extra money. So we were down to 17 participants, and then our current cycle was 21 participants. And RAMP is shelf-stable and frozen meals to people that live in a really rural setting. So they get meals delivered every 2 weeks, and they get to pick the food that they get. But we've increased, with this latest round of carryover, we had 32 participants, and we increased it 60% in 3 months, and now we have 45 participants, I think. So that's 45 people living in the middle of nowhere that really the only time they see another human is during those meal deliveries. So the 2 guys that we have delivering meals are super chatty Cathys, and they just hang out with those people all day. They love it.
So where do is that, you go out and purchase or do you get it from Care and Share? Where does your food come from?
We purchase it in bulk, and then they
Okay.
deliver it to us, and then
I
we
see.
have like a bazillion freezers and
Okay.
the shelf-stable meals.
I might add that one of the goals of the RAMP program, one of the stated goals of the RAMP program is exactly what you're doing, which is to socialize with these folks, and also to identify other needs that they may have since they're so isolated.
Yeah. So Walter's the one on the right, and he's probably the chattiest volunteer, and he just loves going. He's also addicted to frosting, so like if you give him a cupcake, he'll sign up for 1 million extra shifts too. Our ramp coordinator just left, and we're in the process of hiring a new ramp coordinator. The position will be posted this week. And I'm making some changes to that program, too. I want to see the ramp coordinator going out and actually visiting each of these people once a quarter as well. Like, I want way more eyes and hands on the people that are extremely isolated.
Do they have a certain list of things that they should be looking out for?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, there's like
they're
a whole
slightly trained
Yeah.
on what to look for when they go out.
Absolutely, yeah. And then that's the other one, Carl, who volunteers as well. And like, they're so nice, they even load up the vans themselves and everything. They're like a all-in-one volunteer. And so this was mostly focused on what Ppacg funds, since we're here at Ppacg. But our senior center as a whole has over 858 members. We serve close to 80 meals a day. We're the second largest serving site in all of El Paso County. The only one that serves more meals than us is the Colorado Springs Senior Center. So people think of Fountain as this like little tiny senior center, and we're actually one of the most hot-being senior centers in the region. We have tons of activities from yoga. We just started Zumba Gold, and they even have like all their little tie things around their waist with their coins, and they go to town to try Tai Chi, and then we have so when I started, it was really dead in the afternoons, and now we have up to 30 to 40 people staying till 4 o'clock to play cards every day. And we're just really expanding some of the opportunities. And our biggest opportunity that we have on the horizon is we're partnering with the City of Fountain and with Widefield School District 3's Recreation District. They're the only one in the state with a rec district. And in 2020, there will likely be a mill levy on the ballot, and we're going to build a regional recreation center. And so by day, it's going to be primarily the senior center, because that's when we're busy. And if you go to a rec center now, it's like pretty much dead because everybody's at school and work. And then as our seniors tire out about 4 and leave, then that's when the space will convert. So it's a great use of taxpayer dollars, because that means like the square footage is being used the entire time it's open instead of just dead space. And then it also will allow a lot of integration of intergenerational programming, which is so paramount as we get more and more people aging, that we keep the intergenerational programming going. Does anyone have any questions about Fountain Valley Senior Center? I kind of like the place.
We've done car fit, older driver presentations down there, which we'd love to do again. And we've done car fit events down there. And while we don't get a zillion people, there's always a handful of people that are interested. Discussing driving with seniors is a very scary topic, not to us, because they don't know that we're actually trying to help them drive longer and more safely. But they think we're there to take their keys, which we're not. But so we have to do a soft sell on a hard soft sell.
You should come back again, because I come from hospice, so I talk about hospice and funeral homes a lot. And so now you'll seem like awesome
Springs
compared to
Funeral
what I
Home
talked
right
to
here.
them about.
No, I mean, yeah, no, so anyhow, we'll discuss that, and we'll be more than happy to come back and do some more programs.
So I got to tell you just one personal thing, since I shared 3 months ago at this meeting, when my brother had just left, got out of surgery for his double lung transplant. He's 28 years old, has cystic fibrosis, was going to die like within a couple months. So he did almost die. He ended up staying in the hospital for 68 days, and you're usually out in 7. The doctors let me visit right after I got back from Ecuador to say goodbye, because usually you can't be around someone for months. And I just spent Memorial Day at a barbecue at his house in Pueblo, and he's home, and he looks great. So
That is, I remember that call here. That's fantastic news. Thanks. We also, do we have that calendar that we had signed up? Okay, it's up there if she can get it to work. Anyway, some of us signed up to do just what Jolene just did, and we would certainly welcome and love everybody to have a moment to give a presentation on what your group does. So it's, coming somewhere. And we can remind people, maybe we can send out what dates are still open. That'd be awesome. She has it in here. It's in here. Oh, look at me, September 24th. Better write that one down. So we have, look at there. Oh, my gosh. Who's taken Thanksgiving?
Oh, but that's the meeting that we'll probably have.
Oh, okay, then we're kind of full. Hey, awesome group. So if you see your name up there, make sure you write it down like I'm doing. And I better tell Terry Cassidy. Oh, no, look, I already have it down here. Okay, good. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. If you're unable to present, please shoot us an email if something happens. Life happens. Things happen. It just happens. Okay, any training sharing, information sharing, coordination opportunities? Speak now.
I will say Fountain Valley Senior Center is having
I
a
thought you
summer
said you were shy.
picnic. You guys are all invited, and I will email the date, because it's in like the second week of June before our next meeting, but it'll be in Fountain, and it'll be a good time. We'll have hula hoops and silly string.
I will say the Fountain Valley Senior Center is a bustling little place. And you're going to close the current, when you get this rec center shenanigans, you're going
we'll
to
sell
close,
the
sell that
building
and move
and
into this new
location.
facility. Awesome. Cool. That'll be really nice, because your building is a little old.
It's older than me.
It's probably not older than me. Okay, moving on. Items to discuss for future MCC meetings? Folks, think about it. Shoot us an email. Let's talk. These meetings, we want them to be exciting, vibrant, things we learn from. Oh, yeah, subcommittee. Huh? You mean the subcommittee we're about to have? Yeah, we're gonna be talking about what we discussed in our subcommittee that's coming up on the events. We're not going to let that die. Well,
I might announce that the TRS, which is the Technical Review Subcommittee of the Regional
You guys
Advisory
killed me with
Council,
your
just
acronyms.
met last week. We've got acronyms out the wazoo.
we should have a dictionary
We
of
should.
all your a glossary of terms.
And none of them say senior in them, which is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. They met last week. They made the formal recommendation for funding for 2020, FY 2020, which starts July 1. That will be distributed in the board, in the RAC packet, which it will be on our website. So I don't know, Jess, do you know when that goes up?
The rec packet,
Yeah, well, the budget itself.
the budget itself.
The TRS budget. It'll be up in the next few days on our website. So if you want to look at that for 2020, it goes to, well, it has to be up by tomorrow, actually, because it goes to the committee tomorrow afternoon, Thursday morning, to the RAC for approval, and then it goes to the Ppacg board, and then we start spending it on July 1, if we get it by then. So if anybody has any questions about that, I'd be happy to talk to you about it.
And I know you're all going to be really sad about this, but I'm not going to be at the June 25th meeting. It's summertime in the old corral, and I'm going away for a week. Can one of my illustrious leaders, co-leaders, run that meeting?
This is my philosophy.
What?
I have 20 minutes to do a 90-minute meeting. That is my
Hey, you've
philosophy.
been sitting here this whole time, and it's not 90 minutes, BTW, not yet. Yeah. Y'all can tag team. Okay, so that's just an
Yeah,
announcement.
none of
Sorry,
us
I
will
won't
figure
be
it out.
here. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so, without any further ado or other items, we're adjourned. Thank you. At 10:26. I better change it. 24. I got to look at my phone and see what time it is. I don't even know. 25. Oh, man. I got to change my watch.